O mankind, Allah created you from a single pair, of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know each other, not that you may despise each other. Verily the most honored of you in the sight of Allah is he who is the most pious amongst you. Quran, chapter 49 Al-Hujurat, verse 13.
I have often said that Islam is much misunderstood as a faith which is also a way of life for millions across the world. Never before has Islam come under such intense scrutiny, but following the events of 9/11 it has also become the fastest growing religion in many parts of the world. Those seeking to understand Islam have found a spirituality previously lacking in their lives, while others have simply come to realize that this great faith presents no threat at all to Western lifestyles and culture.
And my favorite chapters on the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the special position of women in Islam, will certainly open the eyes of those whose views have been poisoned by preconceived ideas which have served only to demonize this amazing religion. Man needs water, food, and air to live. These are the essentials of life which nobody will argue about. What about religion though? Do human beings need religion the way they need water, food, and air to live? Different people will certainly give different answers to this question. What is religion in the first place? The word religion is derived from the Latin noun religio, which denotes both earnest observance of ritual obligations, and an inward spirit of reverence. According to the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 4th edition, religion is a belief in reverence for a supernatural power or powers regarded as the creator and governor of the universe, b. a personal or institutionalized system grounded in such belief and worship.
Religions under attack. For the major religions of the world, religious beliefs cannot be separated from belief in the existence of a god or gods. This concept has been challenged from time to time by scientists and thinkers, especially in this modern era. In The Future of an Illusion, Die Zukunft einer Illusion, written in 1927, Sigmund Freud, 1856–1939, an Austrian neurologist who founded the psychoanalytic school of psychology, said, "Religion is comparable to a childhood neurosis. Neurosis is a form of mental disorder." In his new introductory lectures on psychoanalysis, 1933, he said, "Religion is an illusion, and it derives its strength from the fact that it falls in with our instinctual desires. In essence, this means that religion is an erroneous concept or belief." For Karl Marx, 1818–1883, a German philosopher, political economist, historian, political theorist, sociologist, communist, and revolutionary, whose ideas are credited as the foundation of modern communism, religion is the opiate of the people. This most frequently quoted statement of his originated from the introduction of his 1843 work, Contribution to Critique of Hegel's Philosophy of Right. For Steven Weinberg, an American physicist, and Nobel laureate in physics for his contributions to the unification of the weak force, and electromagnetic interaction between elementary particles, religion is an insult to human dignity. With or without it you would have good people doing good and evil people doing evil things. But for good people to do evil things, that takes religion. This was expressed in his speech delivered in Washington, D.C. in 1999 as reported by Issuepedia. Today, more and more people are rejecting God and religion in their lives. This gives rise to atheism. Atheism means the rejection of theism, the belief that at least one deity exists, or the belief that deities, gods or divine beings, do not exist. In the broadest sense, it is the absence of belief in the existence of deities or gods. The term atheism originated from the Greek atheos, meaning without gods. Today, about 2.3% of the world's population describe themselves as atheists as reported by Wikipedia. Does God exist? To answer this question we need proof. It is interesting to note that the 20th of July 1998 edition of Newsweek magazine focused on a very interesting topic: Science Finds God. It reported that physicists have stumbled on signs that the cosmos is custom-made for life and consciousness.
It turns out that if the constants of nature, unchanging numbers like the strength of gravity, the charge of an electron, and the mass of a proton were the tiniest bit different, then atoms would not hold together, stars would not burn, and life would never have made an appearance. John Polkinghorne, who had a distinguished career as a physicist at Cambridge University, says, "When you realize that the laws of nature must be incredibly finely tuned to produce the universe we see, that conspires to plant the idea that the universe did not just happen, but that there must be a purpose behind it."
Charles Townes, who shared the 1964 Nobel Prize in Physics for discovering the principles of the laser, goes further. Many have a feeling that somehow intelligence must have been involved in the laws of the universe. The report continued, most scientists still park their faith, if they have it, at the laboratory door. But just as belief can find inspiration in science, so scientists can find inspiration in belief.
Physicist Mehdi Golshani of Sharif University of Technology in Tehran, drawing from the Quran, believes that natural phenomena are God's signs in the universe, and that studying them is almost a religious obligation.
The Quran asks humans to travel in the earth, then see how he initiated the creation research. Golshani says, is a worship act, in that it reveals more of the wonders of God's creation. The same strain runs through Judaism. Karl Veit cites Maimonides, who said that the only pathway to achieve a love of God is by understanding the works of his hand, which is the natural universe. Knowing how the universe functions is crucial to a religious person because this is the world he created. Veit is hardly alone. According to a study released last year, 40% of American scientists believe in a personal God, not merely an ineffable power and presence in the world, but a deity to whom they can pray. In America in particular, there has been a turning to religion along with a great tendency to replace the teaching of the theory of evolution with creationism.
Creationism refers to the religious belief that humanity, life, the earth, and the universe were created in some form by a supernatural being or beings, commonly a single deity.
In 1999, the Kansas Education Board decided that creation should also be taught in schools. This was the result of years of legal wrangling. The most important influence on this decision was the recent striking increase in the number of scientists who believe in creationism.
Indeed, some distinguished atheists are converting from atheism to belief in God. Among them is Anthony Gerard Newton Flew, a British philosopher who was notable for his works on the philosophy of religion. Flew became an atheist at 15, debated at Oxford in the 1950s, and promoted atheism through prestigious works such as his landmark 1984 book, The Presumption of Atheism. He was a key champion of atheism for more than 50 years, and wrote 10 books against the belief in God. However, in 2004 he began to profess an allegiance to deism, belief in the existence of a supreme being instead. His conversion was due to modern scientific findings. He was amazed by the language that is written into the DNA of every cell found in our bodies. According to him, what I think the DNA material has done is show that intelligence must have been involved in getting these extraordinarily diverse elements together. The enormous complexity by which the results were achieved looked to me like the work of intelligence. He later wrote the book, There is a God, How the World's Most Notorious Atheist Changed His Mind together with Roy Abraham Varghese. The same thing occurred to Dr. Francis Collins, a fellow atheist, and the director of the Human Genome Project. In his article, Collins, Why This Scientist Believes in God at articlescnn.com, the 3rd of April 2007, he wrote, I am a scientist, and a believer, and I find no conflict between those worldviews. As the director of the Human Genome Project, I have led a consortium of scientists to read out the 3.1 billion letters of the human genome, our own DNA instruction book. As a believer, I see DNA, the information molecule of all living things, as God's language, and the elegance and complexity of our own bodies, and the rest of nature is a reflection of God's plan.
Yes, those who marvel at the complexity and beauty of the universe will in the end realize that there must be a creator who is responsible for such marvelous creations.
In this context, Professor Arthur L. Shallow, professor of physics at Stanford University, and recipient of the 1981 Nobel Prize for Physics for his work in developing the laser and laser spectroscopy, once said, It seems to me that when confronted with the marvels of life and the universe, one must ask why, and not just how.
The only possible answers are religious. I find a need for God in the universe and in my own life.